The morning show.
Yeah.
The Big Show with Glenn and Angel on Kiss 92.
Good morning. Sometimes getting out of bed in the morning is a lot to deal with all at once.
Okay, no Glenn and Angel, but it is a full house, and I'm so glad I've got another A in the studio today. It is Adrian and Angel, because the rest are Shaunia, Shalini, and Cheyenne. So I was feeling a little bit left out. So thank you, Adrian Choo, for joining us this morning for Happy at Work Thursday.
Always a pleasure to be here. Such a fun group. The energy level's always so high. I love it.
And you're surrounded by women this morning.
Ooh.
Oh wow! Yeah, I didn't notice that.
Right,
Yeah.
of course you didn't. Sure. Okay, so what are we talking about today?
Well, today we're going to start off with. I want to share a little bit about a video series which we are running with WSG and BT, and the one that's just been released. I believe it's on the Facebook page itself. It's with Shalom Movers, where I interviewed Gabriel Lam, who is the COO. He's the boss, but he's such a humble guy. He calls himself the COO. And it's because his dad started the business. So Gabriel calls himself the COO, and he says it's called the child of owner.
Oh,
That's quite good.
It's funny,
that's a good one. Okay.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because previously when I interviewed OCBC,
Yes.
you're looking at a big profitable bank
Yeah.
with a huge budget for training. And now I interviewed an SME, a small medium enterprise, and it was fascinating to see how even a smaller organization can invest in their company's career health of their staff. And you would see that they promote from within, they spend a lot of money on training, and interestingly, the tenure of their employees, they've been in the company for a very, very long time, which is quite rare to see.
Yeah.
To hold on to them, right?
That's right.
So
Yeah.
what do they have that other companies don't have then? What do you think it is to that longevity of the employees being there?
Well, I think it's leadership it's leadership approach and philosophy. So Gabriel basically has a philosophy where it's a family business. But it's also a family business where the people are like family to him.
Yeah.
They've worked very long years, they're loyal to him, and he's loyal to them as well. So even during COVID, when times weren't that great in the market, he still hung on to the people and invested in them, and they've done exceptionally well. So it was a real fascinating interview, and I really enjoyed speaking with him and learning his insights.
So it's a company with heart then.
Yes, it
Aw.
is.
Okay, I
It
like
is.
that.
So it's
Okay.
fantastic.
If you want to watch that interview with Adrian Choo as well as the COO of Shalom Movers, Gabriel Lam, it is on our Facebook. It was posted just 2 days ago, so you can scroll down. But what we're going to do is do you a favor by linking it in the comment section right now of this live telecast. Join us on Facebook and YouTube. We are live on the Kiss 92 Facebook page and YouTube pages. So what are we going to talk about today?
Oh, today's topic is going to be quite fun because
Okay.
it's going to be quite controversial. We're going to talk about Elon Musk.
Oh,
You know,
do we have to? But okay.
it's fun. It's not
right.
so much about him per se, but he's in charge of DOGE, which is the Department of
Yeah.
Government Efficiency, right?
I like to call it Dodge
DOGE.
because it's dodgy.
It's DOGE. Well, he requested to send out an email to all staff. And he said, no, you got to highlight 5 items you did last week.
Okay.
If you don't, you're fired.
So, like 5 items you did at work.
At work.
Okay.
Like successes, accomplishments.
Yeah, anything. See, so the question is, we have I see a lot of Americans are supporting it. A lot of Americans are not supporting it. So, what I wanted to say today about, what would you do if you received an email like that from your boss?
Well, I
What have you
guess
done in the
Are they,
past
like
5?
appraisals?
it's kind of like appraisal,
Yeah.
but if you don't send it, you get fired.
Yeah.
I feel like it's good for the people who actually keep their nose clean and
Yeah.
actually do
Yeah,
the
yeah.
work. And then for those that are kind of like lagging behind, those are the ones that will panic.
Yeah, so we're going to talk today about why it happened and, does it make sense? And what do you do if you get that? And I have my take on it because I think I have something rather controversial to throw in as well. So tune in on Facebook Live.
Yep. Join us on Facebook and YouTube. It's Kiss 92 FM. Right now, it's Cat's Eye with Touch. So, okay, we are still live on Facebook and YouTube. And what would you do, Shaunia?
Oh, wow. I think I would just send email. Boss gets what he wants.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, I sent out an email last week. I typed this letter. I cleaned the pantry.
Yeah.
I cleared my desk. I made sure everything was clean.
Had lunch on time. Came
I
back
had-
on time.
Exactly. I had lunch with my colleagues
Yeah.
and like team built and stuff like that. Would those kind of thing count? What were they looking for? Or what was he looking
so
for?
actually, what was amusing to me was that the whole purpose he did that was because the U.S. government has about 3 million people on payroll. And you don't really know how many of them are
Who's
turning
doing
up
what?
for work, right?
Exactly.
Or even turning up for work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or even still alive.
Oh yeah.
Because there were some, I think, that they realized that they were paying people that weren't even around anymore.
Yeah, correct, right.
Oh my goodness.
So I'm imagining if I came on board to a new company that's if I was the boss, if I've been appointed MD of a new company that was losing money, first thing I'll do is I'll
Clean
try
up.
to contain costs. So I'll send an email out to everyone to say that, hey, are you still around? By the way, can you just just drop me a note, say hi, I'm still around, and give me 5 points that you did last week. But I don't understand the vitriol. I mean, they don't like him, so I think that's where the vitriol comes
Yeah.
from.
Exactly, yeah.
But it was funny to see. So he extended the deadline because some people said we couldn't respond in time. We're out in the field. So he extended the deadline.
But if you can respond with, I'm out in the field.
Technically speaking, you're still alive, right?
Yeah.
And technically speaking,
Yeah.
you can type down 5 things, right? I mean, I feel like it's not totally unreasonable because, as you said, when a new government or a new head of a company comes in, they always want to do some cleaning up,
Yeah.
right? And they always want to see whether their money is being well spent. Maybe the deadline was a little bit too
Harsh.
short,
Yeah.
because he said like by noon today
Yeah,
or by
by
midnight or whatever
48
it was.
hours,
Yeah,
yeah.
it was just so quick, right? But the act itself, I feel, was not totally unreasonable.
Yeah, especially like you said, he knows people don't quite like him. He's kind of giving them like a do it or
Yeah, and of
Goodbye
Yeah, and
type
of course
of
you're gonna get
situation.
50% of people who don't mind it, and then 50% of people who do.
but then when you give them like an ultimatum, 100% of people hopefully will do it. 'Cause
Respond,
nobody
yeah.
wants to lose their job.
And that's why I'm curious to see what the listeners out there, if you're listening in, what are your thoughts? If your boss asks you to do that, will you push back? And Angel, you have a point. If you've been doing your work, I mean, it's not a monumental task
Yeah.
to list 5 things, not even 5 achievements, but 5 things you did last week.
Yeah,
Show up is one of them.
exactly. Come to work on
Wow.
time.
Astonishing.
So we have Matthew that says, in itself, listing what you do is nothing new. So like
Yeah.
appraisals and stuff like that. However, a time period of 1 week and putting potential firing as a consequence doesn't make sense. Was it a 1 week time period or
No,
was it
it was
48
48
hours, right?
hours,
It's much
actually.
shorter. So yeah, that didn't make sense. Then we have Muslan that came on board and he said, what you did last week, ... think this should be more to our government employees. Ask them to list down what they do at work. I think, it's like appraisals. Appraisals are done, once a year?
Yeah, once a year.
Yeah, it could afford to be done more, although I never do appraisals. So I know the girls are always like, oh my God, it's appraisal time.
Appraisal
But nobody really looks forward to it, right?
yeah. It's like they're being judged, right?
And we are. Appraisals are painful, and I think I wouldn't even call it an appraisal. It's more like an appraisal to see whether or not you're still alive. Because it's not a hard ask. It's not like give
It's
me
not.
5 achievements that you did that moved the company,
needle,
the
yeah.
needle. No, it's just one.
And it's not like give me these spreadsheets,
Yeah.
of last year's whatever you did, your sales and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
There's
Within
no data
20
involved
No,
here.
nothing at all.
Yeah.
Mol gave a good idea. I'd use ChatGPT to quickly churn out and submit 5 points and move on, which is true.
Yeah,
it's
correct.
not hard.
Yeah, correct.
Actually, I don't think Elon Musk would be sifting through the plagiarism checker and whatnot.
No,
How many?
no,
3
no.
million federal workers?
Yeah.
I don't think they have time to do
If
that.
they're tuning in right now, you're welcome.
And I think it's as a check, as a pulse check, and literally this is a pulse check to see
Yeah.
whether
Yeah.
the employees have a pulse.
Yeah.
As a check, it's not a tough call, not a tough ask, because I've seen companies that have installed software on the employee's computer to make sure that A, I can spy
They're
on what
working.
you're doing. B, whether or not there are how many key clicks per minute.
Yeah, they track your.
I actually saw this thing one time where this was during COVID era quarantine,
Oh,
and
yeah.
then they're trying to check to see if the students are doing their work. They would build a contraption just so their mouse would keep moving stuff.
Yeah,
That's right.
They were selling it like on
Yeah.
on Shopee and stuff like that. Little thing that can move and little thing that can
Yeah.
click your keyboard as well.
Yeah, I would save money and just attach the wireless mouse to my dog.
Yeah, because
you
all over the
got
place.
an eco-friendly idea there.
Krishna Raj said, "Well, if you're doing your job well, 5 points is not a problem to reply in 5 minutes."
Yeah, or less,
Which is
right?
true. Okay, let's go for traffic.
Before you go.
Kiss 92 traffic.
Quite a number of situations. The first is on the PIE towards Tuas after Jurong Town Hall Road. An accident is causing quite a bit of backup to Toh Guan Road's exit. Avoid lane 1. On Farrer Road towards Lornie, another accident after Empress Road. If you're heading down that stretch, avoid the left lane. And on the CTE towards the AYE before the exit to Brattle Road and Lorong Chuan, look out for a broken down vehicle. If you spot anything else, you can WhatsApp us. It's 88550920. We are back with Adrian Choo of Career Agility, and it is Happy at Work Thursday, and we're having a little fun time talking about Elon Musk's decision to order all federal workers to reply to an email with the 5 things that they did last week. And we kind of come to a conclusion whether it was reasonable or not, and I think the act in asking is reasonable, but maybe the timeline not so much.
Yeah. I mean, 48 hours, right, was the timeline?
But even if you respond with a sure, okay, boss.
Right.
You get the
Still pulse
response.
check?
Yeah, still
Yeah.
pulse check. Yeah, still
But
pulse
not the
check.
5, not the what he asked for.
Yeah, but does it really take that long to figure out what? And if you need more than 48 hours to figure out what you did for the 5
You
weeks
didn't do anything last week.
last week.
You're like, oh no,
Oh no, let me figure out what did I do.
I didn't
Oh.
even go into work last week.
Or the past couple of months. So that's why it's amusing to me. Not so much the question, because I it's coming from a career, a work, corporate standpoint.
Yeah.
It's not unreasonable to ask your staff, what did you do last week? What I found amusing was the pushback people were giving and the excuses people were giving.
What were they saying?
They were saying that, oh, how about the guys in the forestry service who are out in the forest? They do not have access to emails.
But
How
they're
can they respond to 48?
contactable, right?
Yeah. And okay, in that case, then just when you're back in the office, just say, "Oh, sorry, I was out of office."
Yeah.
Just respond. So it's fine. But the people who are complaining the most, I presume the guys who weren't really doing the work.
Yeah.
So and the bigger question is this: if you do get an email like that, what do you write? Do you just write from the boss? What
Yeah.
did you do last week for 5?
I would list them down because I do my work. So
Yeah.
you'd have to ask someone who doesn't actually work.
Yeah, correct. In fact,
Not here
I
today.
would-
So.
exactly.
joking.
I would take it a step further, and I will list 5 achievements that I did. Not just 5 achievements, but 5 achievements that either created value or did. For instance, like I had a conversation with a key client, with a key prospect. I would take it as an opportunity to update my boss and bosses.
To brag a little bit, maybe.
Brag a little bit. Yeah, it's
Toot your own horn.
Yeah, I mean, especially if it's going all the way up to my boss's bosses, all the way
It's
to Elon
your
Musk.
opportunity to
That's
make
right.
an
They're giving
impression,
it
right?
to you.
Yeah, sure. I'll give more than 5 things. I would just say, here are 10 things that I did.
What else do you need?
Thesis.
Thesis. Yeah, like what you were saying. Just ask ChatGPT to come up with something.
You give them the 5 points, ask them to elaborate.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, put this all down in 1,500 words and see what they do with that.
Overkill, right?
Yeah.
Overdo it. But I think it's not unfair, and I still don't understand what the vitriol. I think the vitriol is more against
The people who are not actually working.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and also against the fact that some people don't like Elon, and that's about it.
Okay.
So anything he does, they're gonna slam him for it. But
Yeah.
it's not unreasonable, and in fact, I would even take it a step beyond what I just said. And even if a boss is not asking you for 5 things you did last week,
Do it anyway?
do it anyway.
Really?
So what I actually recommend, what Yen and I, my co-founder, what we recommend is on Fridays, just drop a note to your boss and say, look, boss, this is what I did, what I achieved this week. Even if it's just 3 things, to keep the boss in the loop, to let your boss know what's happening.
I feel like if your colleagues found out that you were sending your bosses emails every Friday, telling them what you did, they'd be like, "Oh my gosh, what a suck up!" I mean, because nobody else is doing it.
Yeah, and that's why you should do it. And once we go off air again, I'll explain to you why.
Okay, all right. So join us on Facebook and YouTube. The time right now is 8:19.
Kiss 92 time check.
Yeah, because for example, let's just say 4 of us sitting here in this room, right? And then you find out that every Friday, I'm like, hey, Steve, hey, what? So this week I did on Monday, I sent this email to the client. I think they might come in with some sponsorship. I mean, if word gets out, like Fridays, we have meetings.
Yes.
Family meetings,
We
right?
do, yeah.
And then Steve says, oh, yeah, so guys, I think Angel's been doing this thing, that I think is, I'm very impressed with it. Every Friday I get an email, this and that. Everybody's going to look at me going,
Suck up.
wow,
This lady.
what are you doing, right? Why are you working so hard?
market.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, I mean, every week, maybe
I would
every
actually-
month.
No. I think for me, what I would do, what we recommend our clients to do, is it doesn't need to be an essay or a thesis like what you said.
So how would somebody even bring that
Yeah.
up though?
I would just say on a Friday afternoon, maybe about 4:30.
There's a timing too.
Yeah. I mean, just when it's closing up, say, dear boss, just to update you, this week I did this. Next week I'm gonna try and do that and that.
Wow.
Okay. I may need your help on this, and maybe get opinion on that. When you have the time, maybe if you need to reach out to me. So
Get me on this.
yeah. So what happens then is that you're keeping your boss updated, and I can tell you as a fact, your boss is going to be appreciative, and the boss does not need to reply. It's just an update info, and especially if you have bosses who are micromanagers.
Oh, yeah. No, if you have bosses that are micromanagers, I can get that.
Then you update, because one of the reasons why people micromanage is because they don't trust. They have trust issues. They want to make sure that is it being done? Is it being done? Is it being done? The second thing is they lack information. That's why they're hounding you, or sometimes they're just micromanagers for no reason. But a lot of times, the way to manage a micromanager leader is to give him information. Sometimes
Before they even ask.
sometimes even giving a bit too much, over communicate. So I would actually recommend, if you have a boss who, it's just nice to keep your boss updated, because as a boss, I would like that too.
So too much is not too much when it comes to this kind of situation.
Until he tells you to shut up.
Oh.
You're clogging my email box. So I don't know. I don't know if any boss would actually tell you to stop sending me information about what you did last week.
Yeah, I feel it's the narrative as well that you put in, I mean, it's not like you don't write, oh, dear boss, so I feel like what you said is a bit too sucky, sucky-uppy. Like, I would probably say something like, weekly roundup. And then
Weekly
just
roundup.
weekly roundup.
I like that.
Without
Weekly.
a reply necessary.
Yeah.
So it's just like, hey, boss, FYI, this happened this week.
Yeah.
And then that's it. Have a great weekend.
Yeah.
And then done.
Yeah,
I
nice.
won't even set myself up for failure for next week. I'm not even going to say, next week I'm going to do this. Because what if, for some reason, I cannot get it done? Then
that's a fair point.
Then you
Yeah.
overpromise and underdeliver, which I feel.
But then after that, you see, if people start finding out that you're doing that, what do you tell people?
Exactly. I
So
still
I'm just
think.
updating the boss.
That's
Yeah,
it?
but like, why?
Yeah, he didn't even ask.
Like, I would, nobody asked you to update him.
Well, I think that's where you will stand out from your other colleagues, you see. So
And stand out to them as
to
well.
them as well, yeah. So it's once again, it's not a hard and fast rule.
Yeah.
But this is especially so if you just joined a company and the boss may not be familiar with what you're doing, or if you have a new boss coming in who's taking over and you just want to update him, boss, this is what I did, this is what I do. One of the upside to it as well is that if you have it in writing, then when it comes to performance appraisal time, you actually have a whole catalog of
Record.
Catalog.
Yeah.
Take a pick.
Duke says during COVID, my ex-company implemented a daily report that I had to fill in with what I was doing the entire day, and I had to switch on the Teams video from 8:30 to 6 p.m. and we were not allowed to mute the video.
That's an invasion of privacy. You know?
Wow. I mean, what if you have like crying babies and stuff like that? Then, I mean, wouldn't the rest of the people be complete? Because Teams is not individual, right? I would imagine the whole office on one page, right?
Oh no!
Everybody knows what's going on at home.
Yeah.
Oh no!
What do you think of
Adrian,
companies
what do
that
you
do that? Yeah, because
Yeah,
that-
it's what My
There
mind's
are-
going to the worst places.
There
right
are
now.
still companies that allow their staff to work from home.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that there are rules put into place. Like, okay, your video, you have to be active in that sense. It has to be on, connected from 8:30 to 6. I get that. Visual maybe can be on because you can have a blank wall behind you. That's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
Audio
sound
is,
on,
is a
audio?
bit- yeah, I know my burping and my other bodily noises.
And
So
not just that. What if you have a fight with like your kid or your wife or your dog's
Or
barking
somebody
in the
comes
back
in with like sensitive information.
or
and then-
something? Yeah.
Yeah. I think okay, to be fair, I think those were the days when people were still not quite used to
Yeah. Working from home.
right? I think right now if anyone were to suggest that, you would just laugh them in their face and just walk off. It's like,
Yeah.
haha, you must be kidding me. You want me to leave the video
I
on?
guess so.
Yeah.
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 Everybody would have needed a big on-air button then back then. Okay, don't come in.
Don't come in, that's it.
yeah.
Okay. Everyone is saying, just do it. I mean, it's 5 things. How hard
Yeah.
can it be?
Yeah, and that's why let's not make a mountain out of a molehill.
Yeah.
I mean, it's funny to see the responses, but as I said, if you do get an email like that, just respond from your bosses. Make sure that it's sharp and smart. Okay.
What would qualify as 5 things?
Well, in this case, I just a basic job description. I mean, I spoke to 15 business. I spoke to 15 clients last week.
I had a team meeting.
I had a team
is
meeting.
that considered
Yeah, I
a
think that's
thing?
okay. Yeah,
Should
I think
one
that's
of them
all.
be like an achievement or
Yeah,
something?
you could if you wanted to. 1 or 2 achievements.
Because it's not very clear, right?
Yeah.
List 5 things that you did.
And you know what? The boss may not even read it. The boss just wants, in Doja's case, they just wanted to see whether
The
the
heartbeat.
mail was being, the heartbeat was there, whether or not
Yeah.
the email was being responded to.
Yeah.
So sorry, I cannot unhear. After you said dodges, I cannot
Dodges,
unhear it.
dodge.
Dodge, right? Dodgy.
It's so funny. So that's why if you get that, go ahead and just respond. And I would actually recommend if you are at work and maybe I agree with you. Maybe once a week. If you feel once a week is a bit too sucky-uppy, maybe you want to try once a fortnight.
Yeah, I think
Ish.
that's
Yeah, up to your comfort
kind of
level.
like mid-month check-in. My wrap up. Just like, please do not reply to this email. I'm just keeping you informed.
Yeah.
Or just a WhatsApp react.
Yeah, something like that. Thumbs up is good. Okay, so that's out of the way. We're moving on to a topic that Shania can
I'm so
really
keen to
start
get
speaking
her-
about
pick her
because
mind on it.
Okay.
this is a topic, a Straits Times article about why fewer fresh Singaporean graduates are getting hired. We can do this on air after the traffic update.
That's
No,
it.
you can carry on if you
Oh,
want.
okay.
Yeah.
So the
Just a little bit.
the data was out. They,
Yeah.
they did fresh graduates, the employment/unemployment rate, and they found that the duration 6 months after graduation, they found that the employment rate for fresh graduates had dropped from 83% to about 93% to about 87%. So about 4 to 5% drop.
That's a crazy drop.
It's quite a lot though.
Yeah.
Okay, we're
it's
going
wild.
back.
Okay.
Kiss 92 traffic.
On the TPE towards the PIE before the Punggol Road exit, look out for a broken down vehicle. If you spot anything else, you can WhatsApp us. Let us know at 8855 0920. Okay, we are back on air with Adrian Choo. It is Happy at Work Thursday. And right now we've moved on to this article that was in the Straits Times. It's about, the question was asked, why are fewer fresh Singaporean graduates getting hired?
Yeah, so the statistics that came out just this week on the Straits Times showed that local graduates from the autonomous universities,
Yeah.
the NUS, SMU, the whole bunch, there was a drop in employment within of graduates getting employment within 6 months of their graduation, and apparently it dropped from 89.
93?
Yeah, in 2022 it was 93.8%. This year it dropped to 87.1%, and last year it was 89%. So there's a gradual decrease
Right.
in fresh graduates landing employment.
What's
Okay.
happening though? Why is this
And the
happening?
question is why? What's happening?
Yeah.
And the irony of it is, it's not just the flip side to it is that the median income actually went up for the graduates.
So they're expecting more, or
No, they're actually
they're being paid more? Okay.
Even
Are they
though-
asking more though?
I assume they would be, but what was interesting to me is that it sounds quite counterintuitive, right?
Yeah, or are companies now being more picky with who they?
And I suspect that's why. So,
Yeah.
I mean, there are two possible group reasons why this is happening. I think the first thing is possibly that it's structural. Maybe the economy is just not doing that well,
Yeah.
and they're still not picking up. But then, why are the median salaries going up? See, so that's interesting. The second thing is maybe another reason why fresh grads are not being employed fast enough is because they're being picky and choosy. And that's why we want to pick Shauna's brain to see whether or not, as a Gen Z, whether or not that holds any water.
Okay. I mean, in my case, it was a very different case. It was for me, I knew what I wanted all along, radio, whatever the opportunity, I'm down to do it. But I know for a couple of my friends, like you mentioned, after graduation, actually, Adrian, how long is on average does it take a fresh grad to find a job? Usually.
From my experience, less than 6 months, typically.
I had friends who were still looking for jobs a year after graduation.
Were they being picky? Or?
Actually, it seemed as though there weren't enough job openings at that time. Or that there were just too many applicants at one go. So in an interview, they would have like 5 to 6 different people at one time.
Oh.
Yeah, and then it's tough to fight your case in that situation sometimes.
My question is, were they desperate to find a job, or were they just kind of like, yeah, if I find something great, if I don't, then who cares?
I think another thing was they all had specific industries they wanted to go into.
Okay.
And if it's already so small, the job pool also kind of
Shrinks, yeah.
So a lot of them didn't know how to branch out after that. So that's
To
why,
other
That's right. That's right. So then it just kind of went into a whole cycle for them until they finally got something. Even if it wasn't the job they wanted, if it was at a lower entry point, they still ended up taking it because they were desperate in the end.
But you were saying 5 or 6 other interviewees. Isn't that normal though?
I suppose so.
You know what I mean? Because I remember even like, I didn't go for job interviews, but even like modeling jobs,
Yeah.
or hosting jobs, you would still be up against 5 or
Yeah.
6 other people. I mean, that's quite regular, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And
You just have to prove your point that you're the best one.
Yeah, the competition's always going to be there.
Yeah.
That's why
Yes.
you have to be the best, like what you said. I know of a Gen Z individual who, upon graduating, and she didn't want. She had a list of 3 companies only that she wanted to join.
Yeah.
She said, I'm gonna intern all my way postgraduate, after graduate, intern all the way until I get a job in either of those 3 companies. And last I heard, 10 months on, she was still an intern. She wasn't even working. She was
Yeah.
interning at the companies which were adjacent to the 3 companies she wanted to work with.
So on that note though, it's funny because I think a couple of my friends have been in that situation.
Interns forever?
That's right. Forever just interning back and forth.
Yeah.
Why does it happen? Why does a company not want to like upgrade them to become like employees if they're just going to be there doing the same job?
I feel they're not. I don't want to blame everything on the Gen Zers, but I feel there's not enough hunger. You know what I mean? It's like kind of just going through life. I know of some kids as well who just want to continue studying because they don't want to go into the workspace.
I've heard of that, actually.
I mean, they
don't
just want to,
understand
they're
that
like,
one.
okay, I'm going to do my uni, then I'm going to do my master's, then I'm going to do this course and that course. I'm like, so you're going to study forever? At some point, you have to move out of your parents' shelter and get a life.
Use what you learn
Yeah,
and make
exactly.
some cha-ching.
Okay, I tell you what, we're going to continue this conversation on the Big Show TV. Join us.
This is brand new. Here's a
Okay, so we have Matthew that says more promotion/poaching and less hiring of fresh grads may explain the increase in median salary, but a decrease in fresh grad employment.
Possible.
Could that be possible? And also he says, so it may just be employers preferring to go for experienced staff instead.
Yeah.
So that's why the salary is going up.
I have a very controversial reason for it. I think the universities are not churning out the right types of graduates that the market wants.
What do you mean?
And I'm going to be very horrible here because in the statistics, it does show that the arts and media graduates, their incomes have not risen as fast as the other
Business.
computer business kind of stuff. So in the government's bid to increase the number of graduates,
Yeah.
perhaps maybe they should refocus and put more individuals, undergrads into those where the demand is higher, like maybe technology. But once again, it's not fair to say because some people may just not want to go into
Yes.
tech, right?
Yeah.
But there are tech adjacent type roles, things. So I don't know. I find that there are individuals. There are certain roles we just don't pay as well.
Yeah, for sure. I
yeah.
mean, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I think also like all the different industries, be it the arts or whatever it is, they are all getting way more advanced technologically too.
Yeah.
They're all finding ways to use AI. They're coding their own programs
Yeah.
and stuff like that for education purposes. But I want to bring up this topic of how when students come out of poly, they come out of JC, whatever, they start picking universities, right? And a lot of the times our universities in Singapore, like we're talking about the three major ones here, they kind of have the same courses and all. But what may sway a student is the employment rate at the end.
Of course,
And
yeah.
some of these universities are known to have high employment rates. Does that not matter anymore?
Well, I think it does matter, but I don't. That's why I would love to see the raw data that's coming up,
Yeah.
because I want to see which universities, which faculties are actually, but they're not revealing because I'm afraid they might cause an artificial demand
Yeah.
for people rushing into that university.
Yes.
But
Isn't that what they put on their posters?
That's right.
They're like
That's what they advertise.
98% employability rate from all our
Within
graduates
6
and stuff
months.
on the
within 6 months,
Yeah,
right.
They have those, right?
But once again, it's I would love to see
the accurate data.
Yeah.
the accurate data and the breakdown of which faculties and everything.
Yeah.
Because you can have 99% from the tech, but you may have a lower rate
1%
for
from
1%.
mass comms
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah,
I,
you
I asked
don't
that
know,
because
right?
I ended up being one of those who was swayed by
Oh,
the numbers.
stats. Ah,
But look
okay.
at you, you're employed,
Oh, yay!
right?
Yeah, I guess so, yeah.
But I do feel that sometimes I do meet some fresh graduates who are still looking for their roles. They are being a bit picky. And I've seen one individual who said, I actually have 2 offers from one from the government sector, another one from a company that was an SME, small medium enterprise. But I'm still waiting for that big one to come.
Oh,
Yeah.
what?
And
You
she
already have
declined.
2.
She declined 2. She said, I'll wait. It's been 7 months.
Wow, Gen Z.
Gen Z.
Wow, okay.
And she's well, I wouldn't say she's a superstar student, but she did pretty well.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
that's the other thing, though, right? Nowadays, it's not just your grades that matter anymore.
Oh, yeah,
it's
yeah.
really all the experience, and sometimes
Yep.
it's not even the work experience. They want to see whether you're a people's person, whether you can carry their company well, and the interviews nowadays, I feel from what I've heard, carry a lot more weight than
Yeah.
you can imagine.
So Mol came on, and Mol clearly
Mol.
loves her Chat GPT. Mol says, I asked Chat GPT on why there was a drop in fresh grad employment rate in Singapore, and here's what it said. 1, economic uncertainty, employers cautious due to layoffs. 2, contract roles shift from permanent to fixed term jobs. 3, skills mismatch, graduate skills don't meet job demands. 4, freelancing rise, more grads opt for gig work. And 5, job competition, more grads than available jobs.
Yes, I think that summed it up. So that ends today's episode.
Okay, thank you very much for watching.
Thanks, GPT.
We'll see you again next Thursday.
Everything's all there.
we'll just do a whole Chat GPT show next
Yeah,
year.
next,
next week.
I'll be taking next week off.
Yeah.
Just interview ChatGPT.
Break, yeah.
Yeah. But Mal's got a point. I mean, these all add up. And I think that... and one more thing that's interesting as well, doesn't quite capture because there are... And Mal brings up a really good point because there are some companies that would hire you not on a full-time basis, but on a contract. A 1 year
yeah.
renewable contract.
That's
How does that benefit the employer or employee?
Okay, it benefits the employer because sometimes they do not have a headcount. HR
They don't have enough
tells them-
for full-time, yeah.
HR tells them, due to cost constraints, we need to
Yeah.
look as though we are not spending money frivolously. Therefore, no new hires, but you can engage a contractor.
So it doesn't mean your employees can't grow.
Yeah.
You can, but it's under
Yeah,
contract.
it's under a contract
Yeah.
a bucket. And what that means is for all intents and purposes, you are an full-time employee there.
Yeah.
Just that every year they will renew
Yeah.
and renew and renew.
But you don't get all the benefits.
Yeah, and
that,
therefore it may there might be a certain number of people who fall into that bracket and are not captured by the study. And it
Okay.
doesn't fall under the full-time basket.
Right, okay. But I mean, independent contractors and full-timers, the benefits are so different though. That's why because of the CPF
Yes.
and your medical and whatnot. that
But
they
some
give you.
companies actually give
For independent
the
contractors.
contractors,
What?
full everything.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Even CPF? No.
No, they have to give CPF.
They have to give
They have to
CPF,
give
right?
CPF,
Yeah.
that's by law.
Okay.
But they do give, and if they don't give all the benefits like medical, whatever it is,
You can ask.
You can ask, and they'll bump it up for you.
Oh, okay.
Because
That's good
the
to know.
irony of it is, for all intents and purposes, it's the same.
Yeah.
It's just that you're a contractor. In fact, if you don't even tell anyone that you are on a contract, people wouldn't know.
No.
Your colleagues
Yeah.
wouldn't know. They just say, hey, here's our new colleague.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
So-
Unless your passes are different colors. then straight away someone
then
can
it's a given.
And they'll know. They're like, oh, we know who you are.
Yeah. So we see that a lot going on.
So for those that are going into employment, say you're Gen Zers, say you're fresh grads and all that, what is a better option? Full-time or independent contractor?
Well, I think if you have the dream job that you want to get into and with the dream company or it doesn't even need to be a dream. If it's a good company where you can pick up good skills,
Yeah.
get a good mentor or two, even if it's a contract, I would take it up. Because what's the difference? Not much difference. It's just psychological.
Okay. Okay, we're going back on air traffic for the last time, is it?
I am a queen card. You wanna be the queen card.
Kiss 92 traffic.
Okay, on the KPE towards the TPE, a broken down vehicle after the ECP entrance. Avoid lane 4. On the SLE towards the BKE, another vehicle having trouble before the Woodlands Avenue 2 exit. And finally, on the PIE heading east to the airport at Clementi Avenue 6's entrance, look out for an accident. Let us know if you spot anything or even if you just want to say good morning. 8855 It is Angel, Shania, and Adrian in the studio for a Happy at Work Thursday, and this is our last bit of the show. So far, we've been talking about really interesting stuff, what Elon Musk has been up to with the federal workers, and also we're finishing off with how fewer uni graduates last year found full-time work, though more had higher pay.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a rough market out here, guys. Because I graduated last year, and I still have some friends who are around looking for a job. They have been in interviews and all, but they haven't been able to lock something in yet. So this doesn't seem like a very rare thing.
Yeah.
I
Adrian?
think it's okay. I mean, ultimately, you're young. You still have time on your side. It's okay.
But that's what I mean. I feel like they're not hungry enough. Hungry to learn and make the money and maybe progress, because you got to start a career somewhere, right? Not
Yeah.
so much a job.
That's right.
But sometimes there is a huge difference in salary between a multinational company and SME. And it can be as much as $1,000 less or more.
Yeah.
So I can understand the resistance for
The
a
S-
fresh graduate to join in a small medium enterprise. And the prestige that a multinational company would have.
Yeah.
But I would say, take a bigger picture, take a step back, have a look at a bigger picture and see what actually can I learn from the small medium enterprise that could possibly help me, or look at it as a stepping stone for
Take
the
that
first
job
couple of years.
first.
Yeah, you know, if it's good, and just see where it leads. Don't be too picky.
Yeah.
Especially if you have student loans or bills to pay, but most
Or
Singaporeans...
your parents have kicked you out and said, go live on your own.
Well,
Go earn your money.
most Singaporeans don't have that.
No,
Don't have that
Singaporeans
space.
don't have that. Yeah.
Maybe that's
Thankfully.
why they're
Yeah.
not. Maybe that's why they don't
That-
have the impetus.
That's
to,
why I'm
Oh.
saying you're not paying
Yeah.
rent, you're not paying food, you're not
Okay,
paying air
it's coming
con-
together.
Am I right?
It's coming together.
So I mean, once you're forced to go live it out on your own, I feel that's when everybody will be like, okay, you know, I got to get my stuff together and really start doing something and looking for something to survive.
Yeah, I told my kids the moment they graduate, I'm going to start charging them rent.
You said,
Yeah.
but very discounted, I'm sure, right?
Yes, correct.
It's gonna be
Pay
rent
in hugs and kisses or
Oh,
like actual. No, I'm
cold
kidding.
hard,
Actual money.
cold hard cash. I mean, what I didn't tell them was I was going to give them back the money when they get married or whatever. But
Oh.
but you know, I'm just going to keep it. But you got to pay.
You know they're hearing you right now, right?
He takes that back.
It's like it's
I'll
Retract
take
it.
it back.
yeah.
Retract the statement.
It's like, what's the point? Okay, any final words, Adrian?
Well, I think for the fresh graduates out there, if you're looking for a job, just hang in there. The right one's going to come. If you want to be picky, it's your right to be picky or choosy or selective. Just make sure that it's the right move and you're joining the company for the right reasons. I think you'll be fine. When I graduated was in '97. It was a recession year. Was a great Asian financial crisis and all things. And we all worried about housing being too expensive but we all did pretty well at the end of the day. So don't worry too much about the future. I think you're in Singapore. The fact that you're born in Singapore, you've really kind of won the lottery of life.
That's true.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, you're not going to be destitute and on the streets. You're going to be okay if you just work hard.
And things always go in cycles.
Yes,
You know,
correct.
where there is bad, that's always good. So it
Yeah.
will come around again.
Yeah. So just hang in there and don't get too stressed out. Maybe as you're looking for a job, you might want to take up a course or two just to fill in the
Upskill.
time, upskill, so that you can tell your future bosses as to why haven't you been employed for 9 months. Oh, I took up a course in blah, blah, blah.
That's good. Yeah.
Right? So just as an excuse. And
Great. And if
Enjoy
you
life.
need a career consultant, you know, you can always reach out to info@careeragility.org.
of course.
Okay, thanks very much, Adrian. We will see you again next week. Have a great weekend. All right, here is Marina and the Diamonds with Prima Donna.